My name's Rob. I work at GT with some really smart people. I have a lot of questions. I'm going to get some answers. For me, one of the great things about games in general is open world games. I love open world games, and so I'm really looking forward to next gen. My problem is next gen going to make open worlds better or worse?
You were to imagine open world games today and think like, oh, well, what if Red Dead was twice the size of what it was? Like, I don't think that would have made the game better. I think what would have made the game better is if the people reacted to me a little bit more logically, if like there was more voiceover in the game, you know, to kind of like dull the repetition of, you know, hearing the same comments over and over again. Watch Dogs is a good example of ways you can take a map that's probably the same size as something we would have this generation, but add all these influences to it, like all these things he can hack. And so I think like that, like having more restaurants you can go to, more people you can interact with, you know, having a deeper layer of interactivity in the map you've already built, then you can have maps the same size.
The thing is, it's not so much the size of the map, you're right, because you can have an infinite size, you know, randomly generated map. But the question is, you know, what's there and what can you do in that map?
And it's interesting because I think games like Skyrim, someone told me, I mentioned this on Invisible Walls before, that Oblivion didn't have toilets. You know, they were like, that'd be one thing you'd think you would need, at least one, some outhouse somewhere in the game. And like you didn't need it for the game, so that the developers didn't think it was necessary like to put it in the game. It's like, why would we put a room that you would never use? And so I think if you have more detail, if you don't necessarily have like wider areas, but like more detail within a specific area, I think that can go a long way.
You know, one of my pet peeves in games, especially with open world games, is it's the treasure in every nook syndrome. In every, you know, little corner or nook or alleyway, you find something at the end. Open worlds really become open worlds when, you know, you look at something, you say, you know, there's probably nothing down there. I'm not going to explore that. And you think, well, maybe there is. And that's what makes exploration fun.
In a world like GTA or something like Red Dead or even Saints Row, like somebody actually put that environment together in a certain way. And so it's interesting to see, you know, companies like Rockstar like put so much stuff, like hours of work into radio stations that like if you don't like country music, you're never going to hear that ever. And I know Last of Us was the exact opposite of an open world game, but just that to have that level of detail in a game like Last of Us in an open world, I would probably want to check out a couple apartments that were in some neighborhood just to see like what are the people like that live here, you know, why did they pick that wallpaper? And
so what you're saying is moving from a backlot facade experience that makes you think that there's a big open world to actually building a big open world.
Right. That's what I think. That's what I view as like a next-gen open world. And like the big thing isn't that like, oh, my home in Assassin's Creed is so much bigger now. It's like, no, I can do more stuff in that same environment. The environment doesn't need to be bigger. It's just that like, oh, that person that's walking around, I can actually customize that guy. He does something. There's a reason he's there. Those little details seem insignificant, but when you pile all of that into an open world, it makes a big difference. And that's why I love that genre, because of details like that.